Any questions, thoughts? We're all inside, so...
We'll probably make you repeat yourself.
Okay, right. I'm happy to do that.
Well, if you could, talk about the grassroots effort that you're seeing here. You said that the campaign is on track to basically double what they did.
I'm a believer in grassroots. I think that's how you win, particularly in Ohio. We had a big grassroots campaign in 2010 in our Senate election, and I believe that made the difference. I think we have more energy and enthusiasm on the Republican side than I have seen in any other campaign. And I've been involved in other presidential races, and they're always important. But this year there's something special. People are really concerned about the direction of the country. They're worried about their own future, but also worried about their kids and their grandkids, and whether we're going to be able to turn around this economy and bring back the hope, bring back the opportunity that we expect as Americans. The ultimate American dream is to be able to pass along a better world to your kids and grandkids. And many people believe that's at risk today, and that's why they're showing up at the phone banks. That's why they're walking door to door. That's why you're seeing a lot of enthusiasm on our side, and that's translating into more volunteer activity than we've ever seen before at this stage in a presidential election. And I think by the end of this, you will see that we've made more voter contacts than ever before. And I just made a few calls myself. I did get a guy who said, "You're not really Rob Portman." I said, "Is this a recording?" I said, "No, it's me, and I'm here because, as is the case with all these volunteers, I really think this is important." And it turned out to be a positive call, luckily. They aren't all positive. But the guy was a small business owner. He said, "I'm supporting Mitt Romney because I've been listening to what's being said about small businesses." And, he made a sarcastic comment about, "I get up every morning," and he said, "try to determine how much the government's going to help me." And he said I was being sarcastic. And I said, well, that's how a lot of small business people feel, that, look, the government plays a role, no question about it. But it's through your hard work and, through making sacrifices for yourself and your family, putting things at risk, that you are able to create and build a small business. And that creates opportunity for so many others. And that's ultimately how we're going to get out of these difficult economic times we find ourselves in.
You've been very active in the Romney campaign here in Ohio. You're obviously play a key role as a surrogate. Do you have any kind of personal, do you feel a personal obligation to help deliver this state for Mitt Romney because of the position you're in?
Well, I'm chairing the campaign in Ohio, so I certainly feel responsibility. As I said earlier today to these volunteers, we all have a responsibility as Ohioans who care about the direction of our country, because Ohio will end up being, I think, one of a handful of states that will make the difference. So if you live in Texas or you live in New York, probably that state's going to go Republican Texas, Democrat New York. But here in Ohio, we're a swing state. It was very close the last 3 elections. 2 went with Republicans, a couple went with, one went with the Democrats. In fact, Barack Obama won by almost 5 points here in Ohio. So Ohio voters take a careful and long look at the candidates and make a decision about what's best for themselves and their families and our state and our country. And I think Ohio is going to be decisive again.
So, Senator, on that same topic, yesterday we had a poll from We Ask America that shows that the president's up on Mr. Romney here in Ohio by about 8 points. Quinnipiac, the last poll, had him up by maybe 9 points. For a state that Mr. Romney can't lose and still win, if history teaches us that going back to 1944, why wouldn't he want to choose you, born and raised and a senator from Ohio, to win the one state that he can't afford to lose?
Well, first of all, there was a good poll, I think, yesterday for the Romney effort showing the gap closing. It was 2 points. And so you're going to see polls all over the place. It's very close. It's within the margin of error, I believe, if you look at the average, the RCP average. So it's going to be close in Ohio. I've said that from the start. But I do think ultimately the economic message is the most important one. People are really worried about the direction of the economy. And we had a town hall meeting this week, I should try to do on a monthly basis, and we did a little poll saying, what do you care about? 20,000 people were on the call at any one time, and the economy was by far and away the top issue. Second, by the way, was the debt and deficit. Both are issues where people see the country going in the wrong direction. And despite the promises by Mitt Romney to cut the deficit in half, we see another $1 trillion deficit this year. Despite the promises to get the unemployment number down to 5.6%, we see it almost 50% higher right now. Despite the promises to reduce health care costs, we see them going up. So I think people are looking, they're considering, what's best for them and their family and our state and our country. And I think at the end of the day, Ohio is going to go in the Mitt Romney column because people are looking for a change, and that he's offering something positive. He's offering the experience and the record and the policies to turn things around. But as chair of the campaign, I'm going to be very involved, and I'm going to do everything I can. I work my heart out for Mitt Romney, and I'm going to do the same thing these folks we saw here today are doing, which is, putting time aside to try to convince folks who are undecided, who aren't sure about either party, frankly, who aren't sure about the whole political system, to get engaged, to get involved, look at the facts, and I think at the end of the day, that will be good for Mitt Romney.